Okay, so the recording has started, and I was saying that last time we studied pointers. We started studying pointers. So if you guys have any questions regarding pointers, we can start by discussing them. Lecture on pointer YouTube upload. Is it not? Because right now, let me see. Yeah, pointers. I have downloaded it, and is it not on YouTube? Anybody else who has tried it on YouTube? Let me see. On YouTube. Yes, it is on YouTube in the same channel. Any other question? I mean, you could have tried YouTube before asking the question, but still, any other question regarding pointers? Has anybody tried pointers? Has anybody tried writing code using pointers for themselves? Okay, anybody else? Declaring a pointer, taking address of a variable, storing it in a pointer, and dereferencing a pointer to access a value whose address is stored in the pointer, and also passing passing arguments to a function via pointers. Okay, only 3 people responded. For the others, I mean, if you are not practicing things regularly, then it's almost sure that you guys will have problems later. Okay, so please, whatever we study in class, try practicing it to yourself. Try reading the book chapters related to it and doing some exercises. I know some of you asked me to make some exercises on HackerRank, and I'm sorry I have not had the time. So far, I'll most definitely do it this week, but still, like, if I'm not up to the mark, you guys should keep keep practicing on your end. Okay, you always have the book. You can study the book, or you can even Google internet on some questions related to C++ pointers and try solving those questions. Okay, so again, very few people have tried, and please keep practicing. So nobody has any questions regarding pointers? Even those of you who have tried using pointers, have you guys any questions? No? Okay. Okay, so no problem, and we can move forward then. So let me try to share my screen with you, and okay, so now you guys should be able to see the terminal, and in the terminal you guys can see what the program that we wrote last time to swap two numbers. but this time we are using pointers to pass arguments to a function. Instead of passing the integers by value or by reference, we are passing their addresses as arguments, and using those addresses from within the function, we access the variables that were our original variables and modify their values from within the function. Okay. So is this program clear to everybody? What is happening here and how we are able to change the values of the original arguments from within the function using their addresses. Okay, I hope others are also following. So if it is clear to everybody, then we can move. Okay, if it is clear to everybody, then let me ask a couple of questions. In this program, we are passing addresses, address of x and address of y to the function swap. Okay, on line number 16, we are passing the address of x and address of y to function swap when we call it. Okay. So the question is, these addresses will be received in pointer A and pointer B. So are pointer A and pointer B local variables or not? Mahmoud Umair, I'll be repeating what I'm saying now, okay? So don't worry. So are pointer A and pointer B local variables or not? Local. Okay. And when we pass the addresses or the pointers to function swap, is passing of addresses being they are being passed by value or passed by reference? Are the addresses of x and y being passed to the function swap by value or by reference? So all of you guys who are replying reference would not get the marks. Okay, very good. The passing of addresses is happening by pass by value. Okay, is it clear to you guys or not? Yeah, this is one thing. There is no ampersand in the declaration of arguments in the function definition. When we are declaring A and B, there is no ampersand signature. So arguments are not references. Okay. This is one indication. And Zishan, do you want to say something or shall I mute you? Let me mute you and then you can unmute if you want to talk. Okay, so yes, so the what happens in pass by value? What happens when we pass an argument to a function in pass by value? Variable value is copied into the function. Okay, a copy of the variable value is made inside the function. Okay, so here you see the address of x and address of y is calculated on line number 16 when we call swap, and then a copy of that address is passed inside the function in variables in arguments a and b. Okay, so pointers a and b basically receive a copy of the address of x and y that was calculated on line number 16. Okay, is it clear? Usman Tahir, we are talking about pass by value, not pass by reference. So can everybody see that the addresses are being passed by value and not by reference? Okay, and so copies of those addresses are being made inside the function a and b, and those copies are local variables, and those copies will be destroyed once the function swap is finished. Is anybody still confused about this? That in this program, arguments to our function to the function swap are being passed by value and not by reference. Okay, so I'm not getting any answer. So as I said, I will assume answer of my choice, that everybody is crystal clear, and if somebody is still confused, then it's on them to catch up in any way they can. So the second question is, if the arguments to swap are being passed by value by making a copy, then how come we are able to modify the values of x and y from inside the function swap? Remember, we said that if we want to modify the value of an external variable from within the function, we have to make it pass by reference. Okay, because pass by value will make a copy, and we can't modify the values of modifying the value of a copy won't affect the original variable value. Okay, so if we are passing these addresses by value, then how come we are able to modify the value of x and y from within this function swap? The value of address is copied by the same, so it will point to the same variable. Very good. Okay, so the value of address is copied, but that copy has the same value as the original address, and therefore the copy is also pointing to the original variable. Okay, so when we dereference this copy pointer from within the function, we are able to access the original variable from within the function, and we can modify the value of the original variable from within the function. Okay, so pointers are also another way. Passing by pointers is to modify the value of an external variable from within the function, because the function has the address, and using that address we can access the original variable. Is it clear to everybody? Again, no response. So yes, but apart from Usman Tahir and Muhammad Fareh, others also are encouraged to participate in the discussions, even if it is to say that I am still confused and it would be good. Repeat what, Zaim Shakir? Yes, it would seem so. Okay, so there was a comment by Hamdan Kareem that can it be because the function is void, so it does not return the value after being replaced, so main function print its own value and user defined function print its own value? Okay, this question is super not clear. What do you mean by the main function printing a value and its own value and user defined function its own value?
मैं ये कह रहा था जैसे आपने ऊपर void लिखा है ना फंक्शन में और उसकी कोई वैल्यू डिक्लेयर कराई और फिर int मेन फंक्शन में आपने क्या बोलते हैं कोई दूसरी वैल्यू थी x की और फिर आपने उस फंक्शन को कॉल किया और फिर उसके बाद वो वापस ऊपर चला गया. अब वो वैल्यू तो पास बाय वैल्यू पे रिप्लेस हो गई है सर, पर चूंकि उसमें रिटर्न नहीं था और सी आउट ऊपर था यूजर डिफाइंड फंक्शन में, तो वो अपना वहां पे प्रिंट कर लेगा, पर जो इंट मेन फंक्शन वाला है वो अपनी वैल्यू प्रिंट करेगा, रिप्लेस नहीं होंगे. तो यानी दो डिस्टिंक्ट वैल्यूज प्रिंट होंगी.
No, I'm still not understanding your question. You say that we call swap here on line number 16 and we pass it the value of the address of x and y, and it will jump to the body of the function swap. Okay, and from within the swap function, using this address or a copy of the address, it will be able to access x and y by dereferencing this address. Okay, so that's why the value of x and y will change. It has nothing to do with the return type of void or the return type of swap. So can you further elaborate what you are confused about?
सर ये तो पास बाय रेफरेंस हो गया ना. अगर पास बाय से
No, it's not pass by reference. It's not pass by reference. That's what I was saying. Here we are passing by value, not by reference. This ampersand here on line number 16 is not reference. Here it is a third context that we studied for the symbol ampersand, which means address of. It's an operator here. And here we are saying basically address of x. So this operation will return the address of the variable x here in the place of the first argument, and similarly address of y in the place of second argument, and those two addresses will be passed by value. They will be copied, a copy of those addresses will be passed and stored in this pointer A and pointer B.
Okay sir, okay, thank you very much sir, thank you.
Okay, so passing is happening by value, not by reference. So Zaim Shaka, basically you were saying the same thing, that the passing here in this code is happening by value. Okay, so the addresses are passed and they are basically copied. A copy of those addresses is received inside the function, and using those addresses by dereferencing them, we can access the original variable values x and y. Okay, and we can modify those variables from within the function swap. Okay, so basically if you know what this code is doing, the code in front of you, then you have not missed anything that you've discussed so far. Okay, so a couple of other things that we can study about pointers is that the normal arithmetic that we do on integers, when we do x equal to x plus 1, if the value of x is 5 before doing x plus 1, let's say x is an integer, then what will be the value of x if we do x is equal to x plus 1 in our code? The original value of x was 5, and then we did x is equal to x plus 1. What will be the new value of x? 6. Okay, very good. So this is integer arithmetic. Similarly, we can do a few operations, arithmetic operations on pointers also. Okay, not every arithmetic operation can be performed on pointers, but simple arithmetic, very few simple arithmetic operations like incrementing or decrement can be performed on pointers also. Okay, but pointer arithmetic works slightly differently than integer arithmetic. Okay, so just to give you an example, here we have, I'll comment this code or I'll create a new file. Just give me a minute. We don't need swap for the moment, and x and y will keep, and we'll basically int pointer p1 in which we'll store the value of x, and then pointer p2 in which we store the address of y. Right? And now we can print the value of p1 and p2. So whatever the value of the address of x and y will be, it will be printed as p1 and p2. Now the interesting thing that we were discussing right now is what happens when we do arithmetic on a pointer. So let's say we do p1 is equal to p1 plus 1 and p2 equal to 2 plus 1. We print the addresses again. Okay? So we'll see something funny when we run this program. Okay, so I hope you guys can read hexadecimal numbers, right? But even if you can't, it's not a big problem because it's a very big number, hexadecimal number, but the upper digits are not of interest to us. Of special interest to us are the lower digits. Okay, you see, P1 and P2, when we print the addresses before incrementing, so these are original addresses of address of x and y. This is F0 and this is F4. So when I increment P1, if you remember in the code, I did P1 is equal to P1 plus 1. I incremented by 1. But the address here, the value of P1 is incremented by 4 instead of 1. Similarly here, P2 also, it was F4 and we incremented by 1. The address is incremented by 4 and not 1. We can go and look at the code. See. On this line number 13 or 14, we are incrementing P1 and P2 by 1. But when we print the address, we see that instead of incrementing by 1, the compiler has incremented it by 4. Why do you think, or what could be the reason for this? Would it be the same case for char pointers? That's a very good question. And the answer is no. Okay? And that would perhaps give you a key to the answer. So let's say we declare a pointer, or sorry, a character. Character C is equal to this character. And then we can store the header character. First PC. see. And remember, character pointers, it deals them specially. It does not print the character
Sir,
pointer.
I cannot see your laptop screen.
Oh, how about everybody else? Can you guys see the screen or not? So one person can see the screen, two also, three. So can you still not see the screen?
Yes, sir. It's like lag.
Yeah, lag is okay. It's lagging. Okay, okay. Let me connect the.
Sir, I cannot see your Dev Plus programming.
No, no, it's
It's
not Dev
hanged.
Plus. It's not Dev Plus. It's the terminal. You should be seeing a black screen with some text written on it.
I cannot see anything on screen. Only sleeping mode I see.
Ah, okay, okay, okay. Let me see. I have now connected the wire cable. So it might get better, hopefully. Okay, so can you see the screen now? Hello, Amacha?
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, it's still not visible for you. Others also, is it lagging for others?
No, sir.
Okay, let me move the cursor. So here I am basically doing some selections. Can you guys see that now I've selected 4 lines? And now if I go up, can you guys see the selections as I did?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Amacha, is it any better for you? Ahmed Jamil, you also cannot see the screen?
I cannot see your laptop screen. Sir, I
Amacha,
want
what
to
will you say?
disconnect the.
Okay, yes, okay. You can disconnect and then reconnect, maybe it will get better.
Okay, I want to reconnect.
Okay, okay. So meanwhile, I'll write some code. Emma Jamil, is it okay for you? Okay, good. So I'll meanwhile write some code and we'll try to print the value of the character pointer. Okay. So if you remember from our last experience, when we tried to print the value of a character pointer, it was basically printing the value of the character that the pointer was pointing to. Okay, and not the character pointer. So for that, cout basically treats character pointer specially, in a special way. So we'll basically cast this character pointer to a void pointer and we'll print its value in this way. Okay, it's 3.
सर प्लीज रिपीट कर दें सर, आपकी आवाज बहुत लैग हो रही है, ऐसा लग रहा है दूर से आ रही है सर आपकी आवाज.
Wait a minute, I am writing the code, and once I finish writing the code, I will repeat myself. Okay, so that's it. The code has been written. So I was saying that if you remember from a couple of classes ago when we were trying to print a character pointer, cout basically treats the character pointer in a special way. Okay, so instead of printing out the value of the character pointer, which is the address of a character, instead of printing that address, it basically prints the character that address is pointing to. Okay, so to avoid that thing, we are basically casting this character pointer into void pointer. Okay, so that cout does not treat p3 as character pointer, but to treat it as void pointer. Okay, and now we'll be able to print the address contained in p3. So with this code, we will see that pointer arithmetic is special and pointer arithmetic on character pointers and integer pointers work differently. So you see I've declared two integer pointers and one character pointer. Okay? So I'm printing the original values of these pointers, and then I'm incrementing each of these pointers by 1, and then we are printing the new values of these incremented pointers that have been incremented. So I'll compile this and oops, cannot convert character pointer to integer pointer. Okay, so yes, P3 is a character pointer. So here is the problem. P3 is a character pointer and not an integer pointer. So you see when we incremented P1 by 1, its value changed from 3A to 3C. Okay, so hexadecimal, I hope by now you know some. So 8 plus 4 is C in hexadecimal. So 38 becomes 3C. Similarly, 3C becomes 40. Okay, again in hexadecimal, C plus 4 is equal to 10. Okay, so for P1 and P2, incrementing them by 1 has incremented the value of the address by 4. While in contrast, in character pointer P3, the original value was 37, and doing a plus 1 increases the address by only 1, and it becomes 38. Okay, so pointer arithmetic is slightly different from integer arithmetic. So why do you think C++ compiler is treating these integer pointers and character pointers differently? Pointers only store the numeric value of the address. For long or double, it will assign 4 bytes in computer memory. Yes, for long and double, 4 or 8 bytes. Okay, it depends on the architecture. It might be 4 or 8 bytes. Will it change the address of the variable? That's a good question. Will the address of the variable, what was the name of the variable? Let me see. Yes. Will the addresses of the variables x, y, and c change if we increment the value of P1, P2, P3? No. How about others? That's a very good question. We have stored the addresses of x, y, and c in P1, P2, P3. So if we change or increment the values of P1, P2, P3, will the addresses of x, y, and c change? No, very good. Okay, so no is the correct answer. I hope everybody is clear on this, that the pointers are variables which are storing a copy of the address. Okay, we take the address and then we store the value of that address as a copy in P1, P2, P3. So when we are incrementing P1, P2, P3, we are only incrementing that copy that is stored in P1, P2, P3. Okay? The addresses of the original variables do not change. Okay, so the addresses of the original variable remain the same. Can you explain the word thing? Don't worry about the void casting. It's just to print the value of the character pointer. Okay, right now it's not important. Right now we are discussing how does pointer arithmetic work. So what do you guys think is the reason behind this pointer arithmetic? Why is pointer arithmetic different from integer arithmetic? Okay. 4 bytes allocated for storage for each integer variable. So to go to the next multiplication, incremented by 4 for integer pointer. Very good. Okay. This is the reason, and we are going to discuss it in detail right now. Characters stores 1 byte. Yes, character is stored in 1 byte. That's why incrementing a character pointer basically, as Fareh said, it takes you to the next memory location. Okay, so since next memory location in character would be 1 byte away. Okay, and similarly, next integer, if integers are stored in consecutively, the address of the next integer would be 4 bytes away. Okay, that's why incrementing an integer pointer increments the address by 4, and incrementing a character pointer basically increments the address by 1. Okay, and this is because C++, as you guys know, has evolved from C, and in C, pointers and arrays are closely related. Okay? So let me to discuss or elaborate this point a little further. We will basically declare an an array, and let's say AI or integer array, and we 5 elements here, and we'll assign basically 33, 6, 0, 6, 3, and okay, 5 are done. And similarly, we'll declare a character array, and we will basically again, just to give them different values. So in C, and there transitively in C++ also, the name of an array is basically a pointer to the first element of the array. Okay, so the name of the array is or stores the address of the first element of the array. Okay. Remember, arrays are basically members of the same data type, variables of the same data type that are basically stored consecutively in RAM, okay, contiguously in RAM. So AI is an array of 5 integers, and these integers will be stored contiguously in RAM. Similarly, AC is an array of characters, and these 5 characters would be stored consecutively or contiguously in RAM. Okay? And the standard says that this name of the variable is or stores the address of the first element in the array, which means AI basically is or contains the address of the element AI0, which is 33. Okay. Similarly, AC contains the address of the first element, which is called in here AC0 is A. Okay. So what we can do is we can basically print this value just to make sure. AI 0 and we can change it. Let's do it with AI0 first. And we can print AI also. Okay, So we are printing the address of AI0 and AI. So let's run it. You see, the address of AI0, the first element of the array is AI0. Okay. So if we take its address, it gives us this value. And if I just print AI, it gives me the same value. Okay. So AI, the name of the array, is basically the address of the first element in that array. Okay. So in C, people used to access these arrays by pointers. So here let's declare integer pointer PAI, just to, it's a pointer to AI, and we assign it AI, or let's say 1% AI. See, let's say AI. And then we can basically try to print the dereference this pointer PAI, which is the address of the first element. So dereferencing this pointer should give us the first element, the value of the first element, okay, because it is storing the address of the first element. So let's verify this also. See, it's giving me 33. Okay, because PAI contains the value of AI, which is the pointer to the first element, and when I dereference that pointer, I get the value of the first element. Okay. So this way, what people used to do was that people used to access or manipulate these arrays using pointers also. So if I want to print all the elements of an array, I can either use the square brackets or I can use a pointer, I less than 5, I plus plus. So we can do it basically in two ways. Either we can do it like this, plus I, now okay, so we can now run it. So see, by changing the value of I, we can basically get to the next element of, we can get the address of the next element in the array, and by dereferencing that address, we can get each element of the array and print its value. Okay, so this way, when pointers were used to access elements of the array, so in loops we have I, so I is incrementing by 1. Okay? So every time we increment by 1, we want the pointer to move to the next element in the array. Okay, and the difference between the address of the previous element and the address of the next element is basically the size of the element. And the size of the element, you know, by now you know that it varies by the type of the element. So the size of each element in an integer array would be 4, if integer is 4 bytes, and size of each element in a character array would be 1. Okay. So to support this manipulation of arrays using pointers, C compiler and later C++ compilers, they from the start differentiated between pointer arithmetic and integer arithmetic. In integer arithmetic, when you add 1 in an integer, the size of the integer grows by, the value of the integer grows by 1. Okay. And in pointer arithmetic, when you add 1 in a pointer, the value of that pointer grows by the size of the element which that pointer is pointing to. Okay, so an integer pointer, adding 1 to an integer pointer would increase the value of that integer pointer by 4, and adding 1 to a character pointer would increase the value of that pointer by 1, because size of each character is 1. In a character array, size of each element would be 1. Okay, so an array could be used in any number of, accessed in either this square brackets, you can access all the elements of the array, or by using pointers. So we can print the same array by using all these techniques. So here, first we'll use this traditional method. We print AI, and then we can, what we do here. Hello, can you mute yourself, please? Now, equal P2. Okay, and what we can do is we can also do this. And we can P2 plus plus. Okay, so in all these lines, we are printing basically the same element of the array with different, using different techniques. The first line prints it using the square brackets, the technique that you had studied first. And the second line prints it using a pointer, but we are not changing the value of the original pointer. Okay? Like PAI is not changed throughout the loop. And this third line basically prints again via pointer P2, but in every iteration we change the value of P2 so that P2 now points to the next element of the array. So if we run this code, A was not declared. It's AI, I think, yes. You see, this is the first iteration. It prints the first element, and we print it 3 times using 3 different methods. Okay. Again, we access the first element and print its value, which is 33. Here is the second element printed, the third element, fourth element, fifth element, and we don't go beyond fifth element because our array has only 5 elements. Okay, so this is the relation between arrays and pointers. Okay, first of all, the name of each array basically stores the address of the first element in the array. Secondly, you can use pointers to access different elements of the array, just like you can use the square brackets. But you have to increment the pointer to get to the next element in the array, and pointer arithmetics works in such a way that very easily you can use pointers inside the array, because by incrementing each pointer by 1, it will automatically add the size of the element to the original value. Okay, so you don't have to worry about the size of each element when using pointers within an array. The compiler does that automatically for you. you only have to increment the pointer by 1, and its value will automatically be incremented by the size of whatever type it is pointing to. That is why pointer arithmetic differs from integer arithmetic, because to make it easier to access arrays in loops using pointers. Okay, is it clear to you guys? Basically, the reason for this was that in older days, it was faster to access arrays using pointers than using square brackets. Okay? So people used to access arrays using pointers a lot. But these days, compilers are very intelligent and powerful, and they can detect that you are accessing an array, and they can always generate fast code for accessing the array, whichever method you use. Okay, so these days there is not much reason to use pointers to access arrays, but still there is this historical relationship between pointers and arrays that you guys should know. Is it clear? What is pointer arithmetic? How does it work? And what's the relationship between arrays and pointers? Okay, only 3 people have responded, but assuming you guys are representing the whole class and others are also following along. So, okay, so if this is clear, then please go ahead and play with it after the class. And if you have any questions, you can bring it to the next class. And next class, we will continue forward from here. Right? I will upload this lecture on YouTube, and that's all from my side. If there's any question from you guys, you can ask now. Okay, so if there's no question, then please mark your attendance here, and we'll continue tomorrow from at this point. So I'll stop the recording now. And